morning.
Hi, how are you?
Good. This is my daughter, Michaela.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Mika.
Hi, Michaela, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Would you like a cup of
This is Rosarella. She's invited me to her home to talk about the murder of young women in Juarez, Mexico. Since 1993, more than 350 women have been killed in this US border town. Their bodies are found abused, mutilated and discarded in the desert.
Today we're marching for International Women's Day, and I belong to a group called Sydney Action for Juarez. So today we will be protesting against the women killings, the femicide that's going on in Juarez City, Mexico.
The situation of femicide and murders of women and disappearances of women began to be documented in 1993, and it was based around a pattern of killings where women were abducted, often from the street, murdered, and often raped and subjected to severe violence.
Young women like me, who look like me, are being murdered, mutilated, tortured, raped, and it would be my worst nightmare. And I know it would be my mum's worst nightmare if that occurred here, if it happened to me.
Trying to separate those that are gender-based, i.e. the motive behind the killing is related to the gender of the victim, is extraordinarily difficult because of the poverty of investigations originally conducted, where they didn't do proper autopsies, didn't do proper assessment of motive and aspects of the case that could indicate motive. In fact, there was every effort that could be made to try and present the cases as domestic violence, to present the cases as not having sexual element, to try and separate the cases out, to make them, if you like, disappear by atomizing them into separate individual units.
In December 2009, an international court ruled the Mexican authorities had failed to protect the victims of femicide and recognised the murders as a gender-based crime. Police incompetence, corruption and the powerful presence of Mexico's drug cartels are just some of the reasons the cases go unsolved.
Look, in New South Wales recently, we've had a couple of horrible sexual abuse cases with young girls, and we've had one murder. So imagine if that continued, if that doubled, if that tripled, if the statistics got higher and higher, and if the authorities did nothing. So I think we all have a daughter, or we have a niece, or we have a granddaughter, or we know of a friend's daughter somewhere. Wherever there's brutality against girls and women, it's our duty to try to stop that.
Most of the victims are workers from the city's maquiladoras, or factories. Often migrants from other parts of Mexico, they are young, dark-skinned and poor. Some say the murders are part of grisly initiation ceremonies for the region's drug gangs. Others say the deaths are revenge killings. All agree there is a culture of impunity that allows the killings to continue.
Misogyny behind many of the crimes, the targeting of women because they're women. Not all are sexual violence, some are domestic violence, but again, there is a spectrum, if you like, where many crossover points exist, and one of the connecting factors is the failure of the justice system to put in place effective mechanisms to prevent the crimes and then to investigate effectively. And that has resulted in very high levels of impunity for those crimes. So if you like, the misogyny, the lack of the justice, impunity for those crimes makes for a common element in our bodies.
She has to be conscious about women's rights. We still have to fight, a long way to go.
I'm here in support of International Women's Day, but also in support of the women of Juarez in Mexico who have been, there is violence committed against them. Many women, over 400 women since 1993 have been killed, and the government of Mexico has done very little to stop the violence against women.
Hello, my name is Pilar. I'm from Mexico. I think the most important thing about being here is tell the story of these women, because in Mexico, when the government has a problem, they tend to hide it.
The murders in Mexico at Juarez are a political problem.
Rosalba López Espinosa, Rosario Aguado, Rosario Fátima Martínez Ángel.
I'm here to remember the women in Juarez who've been murdered and their families who've had to suffer the consequences.
The problem is the workers don't have any chance to have the proper secure transportation and housing near the factories.
This is about as bad as it gets, and if we can do something about this, alert people to this, it will be good for women around the world.
I thought today was really good. I counted twice, over 100 women, and a couple of men that snuck in there. I think it was around 110. I got a little bit teary at one stage when they started calling out the names of the women, and it was really good that in Sydney the names were being called. It was amazing.